In this video we're going to have a look at how to maintain and lubricate your Nightlatch. In this particular case we're looking at an era British Standard Nightlatch, and on this door it's fitted with a London bar, but it's another video to that. In fact, I'll put a link to that video now about the London bar. It's quite a long video, but back to the lubrication. So on these era Nightlatches, I mean, we have installed thousands of these over the last decade plus. And we have had quite a number that have failed due to lack of maintenance, and we need to go into that now. So you need to lubricate your lock, and especially these eras, and you need to lubricate them quite often. And I'm going to show you how. So there's two types of lubricant that we use. They're both made by WD-40. So we just got regular WD-40, which will do in most cases. And we've got the high performance silicone WD-40 specialist high performance silicone lubricant. So if you live in a house or your door, the cylinder, the outer bit, is exposed to the weather, we recommend you use the regular WD-40 in there, because it has excellent water repelling properties. So it will push water out that might be going in, especially if it's a north facing door or it's getting rain hitting it. But if you live in an apartment and this is in a dry area, so there is no rain getting in, no weather, then the silicone lubricant actually is better. So to lubricate the cylinder, I'm not actually going to do it because I'm holding the camera in one hand and I can't really do that to show you, but you're going to put the straw of the WD-40 into the keyhole and give it a little press. Just a very quick press, a little drop of WD-40 will spray into the keyway. Then you're going to take your key, and with the WD-40 you're going to spray on an old rag, this is an old tea towel, spray some WD-40 on the key and then flip it over and spray some on the other side. And while the key is dripping wet with the WD-40, insert the key into the lock and put it in and out a couple of times to distribute that WD-40. It's a bit difficult with one hand, into the pins inside the lock. And we're going to look at the side of the lock, and we're going to, and in this case I'm using the silicone based specialist lubricant. We're going to spray into there, a little drop, and into there. And then what we're going to do, I'm going to have to remove the container now, is while spraying, rotate the handle backwards and forwards like that and spray into these openings here that reveal themselves as you're doing that. So it's drawing a bit of the lubricant into the lock. Same thing here, spray on there and push that in and out so it draws some in. We want a little spray around here, just a little spray, and then turn that handle so that it absorbs that lubricant. And then finally a little spray into that keyhole. During this whole process you're going to have the door open, so you may be dripping some lubricant onto the floor, so you might want to put something down on the floor to protect your flooring, your carpet or whatever you've got there from the lubricant that could stain it. Then over time, and I'm talking probably years really, what tends to happen is doors drop a bit, so they get a bit lower on their hinges, and they drop a bit, and the lock itself, so this is the lock and this is the keep, and they should be horizontally aligned like that. You see this one is slightly lower because this isn't a very rigid door frame. It's not like really in a house, it's just a display door. But as this begins to drop down over time and the lock is noticeably lower than the strike plate, you're going to have to give some attention to the strike plate. You're going to have to move the strike plate down or up in case it's gone the other way, so that it's still in alignment and the lock is working properly. And you want to maintain that gap down the middle. It needs to be about the thickness of a £2 coin. Any tighter, it's not going to work properly and the lock's going to get damaged very quickly. So when you shut the door, a well lubricated and aligned lock, it won't take much pressure to push that. I'm just pushing with my thumb and for it to engage, and you hear that solid clonk. If it's not doing that, then you've got a problem. If you're shutting the door and it's just banging at that point and that bolt's not going back, your lock is potentially already damaged through lack of lubrication or lack of alignment. So that's just something to note. But I'm not saying that there's anything particularly wrong with the era. I mean, yeah, I'll do a version of this. Just with experience, as I say, thousands and thousands of these, and we've had lots of failures. It's down to lack of lubrication. They are a more sensitive lock and they do need more regular lubrication. How often really depends on the door and whether it's facing the weather or not. But as a rule of thumb, if you did it every 2 months or every 3 months, I think you'd be on the safe side. Certainly if it gets stiff, and you can feel that stiffness or that banging that I just described, you should be lubricating, trying to prolong its life.